Okay, so remember we're doing chapter 7 before we do chapter 6, just to make sure we have enough time to talk about it. So chapter 7 is nonverbal communication. Most people, when they think about interpersonal communication, what they figure they're going to be learning about is the nonverbal communication. And people assume they are very good at reading other people's body language, as they call it. And so the textbook says, take a look at the picture of the woman that's on the right side of the screen. And what is she saying by her facial expression? And what is she saying by what she's wearing? And what does she mean by the hand signal that she's using? Probably, as they say, if you asked a dozen people, you'd get a dozen different interpretations. So it's important to realize we're going to spend time looking at what nonverbal communication is, its characteristics, its functions, and then the different types. Nonverbal communication and where it intersects with culture or social phenomena is the topic of the essay. So I want to make sure that you really understand the concepts in this chapter. So let's start with the most important thing right now is how do we define nonverbal communication? This is very short. It's one slide. Okay. So basically, when we say nonverbal communication, we mean messages expressed by non-linguistic means. Okay, so linguistic means language. So these are when we are expressing, we're conveying a message, but we are not using language. Okay, so sometimes people say, well, nonverbal communication means communicating without speaking, and that is not accurate. So take a look at this chart. We can divide communication into communication that is vocal, using our vocal cords, and non-vocal, not using our vocal cords. We can look at communication that is verbal and non-verbal. So if it is both verbal and vocal, that's the spoken word. If it is verbal, using words, but we are not using our voice, this is the written word, this is sign language. Neither of those two boxes are nonverbal communication. So many times people think that sign language is, and it is not. It is an actual language. Okay, so I'm going to go to the bottom right-hand corner. This is when we say nonverbal communication, people instantly go to the nonverbal and non-vocal, saying, "Oh well, it's body language, it's your facial expression, it's touch, it's how close you stand to somebody." True, but, and this is the one that I think messes up a lot of people. Frequently, or all the time, when we are using our voice, but we are not using words, this is part of nonverbal communication. So if you laugh, I mean, when you laugh, you don't say ha ha, right? So you're not actually laughing in words. The tone of voice that we use, are we serious? Are we sarcastic? That's nonverbal. The pitch, there's a difference between saying something like, all right, let's see if I can get this right. Did you have a good day? Or, oh, did you have a good day? That's a difference in pitch. You know, are you talking to an adult? Are you talking to your itty bitty little dogums? Okay, that's the pitch. Okay, and also things like, I like to say that I expect my husband to be fluent in the language of sighs, and he's not, because whenever I sigh, he says, "What did I do wrong?" And sometimes means I've had such a frustrating day. But sometimes means you're such an idiot. Why didn't you do what I asked you to do? Okay. So, and we'll get to this in section 2. Oh, got a tickle in my throat. On section 2 when we talk about the characteristics. Okay. Last point here. That says nonverbal communication shapes perception. Well, so we we read a lot into somebody's nonverbal communication. And that, you see that woman who was wearing that lace top where it was very see-through. Okay, that can influence our perception of her. Okay, so I want us to take a look at, let's check our understanding. Do you know what nonverbal communication is? And do you know what nonverbal communication isn't? If you think back to that chart that I have there. What page in this textbook, whether you have the hard copy or or you're using the ebook, where's the definition? It's good to understand this now to be able to say it's on page 180 because you're going to use it in your essay. You have to define nonverbal communication. Do you know how to cite it correctly? This is very important. If you don't know how to do citations correctly, there are a couple things you can do. I don't know why I have such a tickle in my throat today. One thing is take a look at the sample journal and at the sample essays, which I will make available very soon. See how people have cited it. I'm putting up a link to OWL at Purdue University that will talk about how to cite. And in that, there is also a tool where you can put in this textbook and it will tell you how to cite it correctly. All right. This essay is the most weighty of all the assignments you're going to do this semester, and it has to be academic. All sections of interpersonal communication, this is our common assignment, so we want to make sure that everyone does it correctly. So the third, look in the book, check out OWL, Purdue. You could go to the Academic Success Center, and you can always reach out to me if you're not sure how to do this, and we can meet in person before class, after class, during my office hours, or we can set up a virtual meeting. All right, so that was the first section. Very short, sweet, and to the point. Let me stop this now.